Good afternoon and welcome to Afternoon Cocktail. My name is Amanda Ashley. I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about human nature. Oh boy. Human nature, what does that mean? You have the human part, you have the nature. Is it human nature or is it nature that inspires us to be more human? I brought along two extraordinary guests. I got Miss Sage Melcher and Tracy Gugel. We're gonna get rolling. I hope you enjoyed today's show.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sage Melcher. I wrote this song about nature's powerful ability to heal and restore, and I put it up on Spotify not too long ago. It's more of a dance pop produced version that I made, and this is going to be an acoustic version. Running through cutie forest trees, spruce, pine, and evergreen. Feel the moss, breathe the sky, and run through briars. Scrape up my shins, meet my old self. All that we know, I'll forgive her. Let the past go. Clean myself off with the earth. Clean away all of the hurt. Clean myself off with the dirt. Clean away learning the hurt. I was a girl of the trees. Do you remember me? I am a girl of the trees. Can you remember me? Ooh, remember me? Ooh, now we are happy. Ooh, shake off the old leaves. Ooh, dance in the trees, running through my memory. Trauma will wash out with the sea. She learned to not make a sound, but it stay here in the ground. Meet my old self, all that we know. I'll forgive her, let the past go. Clean myself off with the earth. Clean away all of the hurt. Clean myself off with the dirt. Clean away learning the hurt. Whoop. I was a girl of the trees. Do you remember me? I am a girl of the trees. Can you remember me? Ooh, remember me? Ooh, now we are happy. Ooh, shake off the old leaves. Ooh, dance in the trees. Dance, dance, dance in the trees. Dance, dance, dance in the trees. Dance, dance, dance in the trees. I was a girl of the trees. Do you remember me? I am a girl of the trees. Can you remember me? Ooh, remember me? Ooh, now we are happy. Ooh, shake off the old leaves. Ooh, dance in the trees.
Sage, I love that. This is Sage Melcher. Welcome to Afternoon Cocktail. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm glad to be back in Rochester on the farm with my family. New York City was definitely a good call. My folks were like, "You must come home now."
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're, back with your family during this time. It's definitely a scary time to be in New York City. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, reading about your musical history and your education, it's incredible. I mean, you're a young woman who's covered a lot. So you studied jazz piano and classical voice at Eastman School of Music. You spent some time in the UK studying musical theater at Trinking Park of the Performing Arts. You've sang with various jazz groups and performed in musicals and cabarets both in New York City and the UK. Awesome. And now you're currently living in Brooklyn, working as a musical theater actor. Girl, it's amazing. I love it. So, how does such a culmination of experience play on your original music and writing?
Well, I grew up listening to jazz because that's what my folks always had on, the Great American Songbook. And because we have Eastman School of Music here, I started singing with the Eastman Youth Jazz Orchestra. So that's just always been ingrained in my soul. But as I grew older, I discovered other genres, musical theater and contemporary pop. And now I'm just trying to distinguish what my voice is within all of those different genres, my in my production style and in my songwriting, and still figuring that one out. Like this past song is super dance pop production wise, but I have some other songs that are going to be way more singer songwriter, jazz, very different sonic sounds that I'm playing with.
I hear it. So on Spotify, you have like a handful of really great songs to listen to, and I could hear your jazz influences. I mean, your vocals for sure. And then there's actually even some jazz piece. There's a jazz piece on there. I believe it was like a Christmas song. But yeah, you're the Dancing in the Trees, which is the song you just did an acoustic version of, which I love also. I like both versions a lot. It's definitely more poppy. Do you like pop music? Is that like you see yourself going in that direction more?
I definitely love a song that makes you feel good. I love a song that makes you want to dance, and I think that dance music can be really powerful in that way, especially when you find a happy medium between not just you don't want just straight pop, in my opinion. Just it's I like more interesting if you combine that with a different genre, which is pretty much what most pop musicians are doing these days is they're combining it with all different interesting genres and creating their own sound, and that's what really intrigues me.
So, I mean, this song "Dancing in the Trees" you just released a video for, and it's nature inspired. You said you grew up as a girl on a farm, and now you're living in one of the biggest, toughest cities in the world. I mean, what's your landscape has changed quite a bit. Do you ever feel that need to be lost in the wilderness or to be back on a farm, being in New York City on a regular?
Definitely, yes. That has been such a learning experience for me this year, is realizing how much I need nature and um, growing up surrounded by trees, not watching TV, having a very deep connection with nature, to moving to New York City. It was lost on me how important that was for me to stay connected to, and it really it hurt me, and I didn't deal with the hardships of life as much as I could have, as well as I could have, if I didn't stay connected with nature. So this past year, I really analyzed this within myself, and I take the time always to go to my park in Brooklyn and be with the trees, and because that's who I am, it's so fascinating to me, and it's going to be a lifelong project to better understand how this all works, how we're so directly connected to nature, and how healing it is. I really believe it is so healing for myself. It really helps me find myself again and combat dissociation and combat these these bad things that I was holding on within myself. Nature really helped me release that.
I totally feel a sense of that as well. Like when I grew up in Long Island, New York, and I grew up really going to the water a lot. You know, the ocean. We were about a half hour away, and I spent my childhood going to the beach. You know, a few times a week, and you know, I feel a sense of calmness whenever I'm near water now that I'm 35 years old. You know, like I need to be somewhere near water or someplace lost in nature. You know, and anytime, just like you had said, anytime I had experienced a rough patch in life, and when I think back to the hardest time in my life, I realized I was on a pursuit for my own happy, and I realized there were four things that really got me out of my hole, and it was reading. I was reading this book called 50 Psychological Classics, and it just helped me understand. Reading helps you understand and get a better sense of who you are through other people's art, and that's what I was seeking in that sense. Nature for me was huge because with nature you could incorporate exercise, but it's just being removed from your devices, your regular life, and stepping into a place that's quiet and where you're really alone with your thoughts and back to the roots. You know, like I know you had mentioned that in your post about dancing in the trees. You know, you said that you were so fascinated by trees because of their roots and how deep they are. You know, and being a part of nature really always makes me feel a sense of that. So it's refreshing to hear from you. You're in musical theater, so in the biggest city, I mean, probably the most competitive scene for that. I mean, what's it like, you know, audition wise and you know, fending for yourself on the musical theater scene in New York City?
Yeah, that is. Well, I was really fortunate to move to New York and get to study in a program with incredible teachers and already get massive exposure to casting directors and industry folks. And I was lucky my senior year to be in a show that earned me my equity card. So now when I go to auditions, I am an equity actor, so I don't have to wait in long catalog call lines and do that situation, which I'm really thankful for. But it's still really difficult. I mean, you just go on so many auditions, and sometimes you hear things, sometimes you don't. You just never know. But it's all about forming relationships. And what I was taught is it's not you don't book the show sometimes, but you book the room, and it's really changed my perspective on meeting people and forming relationships that can last for decades. Sometimes it's not about that one show, that one job, but it could come in 10 years from that person. That it's just a full circle, and it's just really a lesson in being kind and vulnerable and strong. It's definitely taught me a lot.
So going back to your regular music, I mean, you're working on. So do you self-produce like for Dancing in the Trees and some of your other songs that I've heard? Are you actually like self-producing, or you're producing with a partner? Do you play with a band?
Yeah.
How do you record?
When I was a couple years ago, I played like the bitter end a lot, and I played shows, and I would hire a band, and we would do more jazzy pop stuff. But I was always super intrigued by production. I decided not to like study music specifically and music production in school, so I was just a lot of YouTube videos and figuring out that. But I love it so much, and I really am excited to learn more about mixing because it's quite complicated, the frequencies of sound and all of this. But I love producing, and I'm definitely, most of my tracks I have coming out soon are self-produced, but I've been really fortunate to meet some amazing producers that I'm also creating with.
Amazing. So you're recording? Are you working on a new album? Is that what or are you just kind of recording as you go and as you write?
Well, I have a lot of just singles, I think, just lining up right now that, like I said, they're all very different, which sometimes is not so great because it's good to like find a sound and do that. But I just love all these different things. So I'm just excited to show them to the world and see how people react to the different styles. And like I said, some of them I produced, and some of them I've made with really amazing producers who you can tell the difference, obviously. But yes, those will all be coming out within the next month. So if you follow me
Wow, that's exciting. Oops, I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
Fo- Follow you where?
On Spotify, I'm going to be putting out a lot of new songs, and I guess the best way for those to share with people is if people follow you, because then it just ends up in their playlists and whatnot.
Great. Yeah, I'm already following you, and I love what I'm hearing. I can't wait to hear more from you. I think your sound is so organic and really well and beautifully written. Everything that I've heard so far, and I'm really happy I found you. And best wishes to you on your musical pursuit and in theater. And I hope that this pandemic, everybody that you love, nobody was affected by it that's in New York City, and that you get back there soon, happy and healthy. Miss Tracy Gugel. Am I pronouncing your name wrong? Are you there?
I'm sorry, I had myself muted. My apologies.
That's okay. Am I saying your Am I saying your last name correctly? It's Google?
Yeah, it's Google. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's
I got nervous.
yeah, it's spelled a little differently. It sounds like Google with the two O's, but it's actually Gugel. So yeah.
Now,
Thank you. Well, thank you
Tracy,
for having me on. By the way, this is great.
of course,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure. So, I mean, we've met in person a number of times. We follow each other on Facebook, and I see that you're doing some extraordinary things with your company. And I mean, we've never really had the opportunity to have a conversation. So I figured now's a good time for that. Tell us a little bit about you. And I mean, you're from Ontario, Canada. Um, you came to Rochester, and could you tell us about your company?
Yeah, I can certainly tell you that. But first of all, I just wanted to say happy Friday to everybody. Cheers. I've got this heart glass that my husband gave me. Isn't it cute? Anyways,
I do
so
love it.
cheers.
Cheers.
Just to give a little bit of background on myself. Yes, I'm Canadian, born and raised in Kingston, Ontario, and but lived throughout Canada and different cities. Landed myself out in the west coast of Canada for school. Did some traveling and stuff. But to catch you to more present day, my father has invented some pretty cool technology, and he's patented it with a company in Canada. And so what we're doing here in the United States is we're developing that technology further. And I have founded a company called Infinite Hydrogen Inc. And it's a game-changing solution, the patent process that we're utilizing, and it basically is solving carbon pollution in the wastewater treatment industry. So it's all good, and it creates an energy asset for them.
It's amazing. So you were telling me earlier, so you're currently working with a team of scientists to help develop your product, right?
We are starting to really grow. I already have 10 people on board with mentors and advisors, and we have 3 core team members on board with us. 2 of them are scientists, and it's very exciting. I never thought, even a year ago that I would be doing this, that it all kind of came together with a need to see that my father and this invention that he has come up with really is a game-changing solution to solve carbon pollution in our world. So I'm just so grateful to be even in this clean tech space, so you want to call it. And I'm just so grateful. It's a scary thing though, because the planet needs a lot of healing, and it's not only going to take scientists to get there, it's going to take government, it's going to take people in the investor space, as well as it's going to take people, the general population, even people watching. There are things that we can all do to collaborate and come together. And that is exciting, actually. So
Yeah, very exciting. I would say. So I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, I don't live the most environmentally friendly, and I'm partially ashamed to say that. But the reason why I surround myself with beautifully intelligent, passionate people like yourself is because I hope to take something positive away and to learn something and to react differently. And environment, like when I think about it, it takes a lot of conscious effort to be environmental friendly, as humans. Like
yeah,
talking about the human and the nature part of it again, us as humans, we're so programmed to to live fast, like everything is we're always on the go. We're always doing
yeah,
something, right? That it's just whatever is easiest comes first, and that's how we do. Maybe not all of us, but not people like you. And you see when when you actually break it down, it doesn't take that much more thought or really that much more time even to just throw something in the recycling bin, as opposed to the garbage can, for a simple example.
yeah.
Um,
There's a
how
lot that we
aggressive?
can there's a lot that we could all be doing on a daily basis with that. And maybe we can have another session on that, on tips of things that we can do.
That's a great idea, and it's something I think about, because it's environment. There are so many environmental concerns right now, and it's a hot topic politically. Like people are very passionate about it, and I mean, I think it all begins with education, and a lot of people, I mean, including myself, people just read articles or stuff, stuff that pops up in their feeds, and not so much do the real research of how these little things are affecting our world, every day. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, how aggressively do you have to educate and convince others that these changes won't be as life altering or time consuming as they initially seem? Do you find yourself in that position a lot?
Um, well, that's a really good question because, if I look at, current methods that are out there, there has been some incredible ingenuity with advances in clean technologies. Uh, you know, you look at, the electric vehicles and Elon Musk, like, wow, I mean, he's been amazing in terms of, being able to produce a clean product for people for the mobility needs. A nice sleek looking one, mind you. I don't have the budget for a Tesla. Maybe one day. I might want to talk to him about that. But and then there are a lot of amazing advances, solar and wind, and it's incredible the things that are coming down the pipeline. I can't talk about them, but there are some really cool things that are coming out there, not just with our company, but there's other really creative things. I know biodegradable plastics like Radical Plastics actually is a company out there, and they've come up with a really great solid way of getting plastic, but yet it's biodegradable. So you think of all the different channels that can operate and exist in that clean space. It's pretty incredible, incredible. So it's a matter of people looking at, like, right now we are all stuck in our homes, and now is a time to really deep think and really think about what can we do when things start getting back to normal. How can we create a clean footprint for our planet, and be less selfish in terms of the more immediate needs, or like going and getting lots of takeout and then throwing it all in the garbage, all of those containers. I think we need to think about every single item that comes into your life. You need to think about, what happens to that one product. It's like, I have this piece of paper, what happens when I toss that piece of paper away? What if there's like a million or a billion of those pieces of paper? And what's the environmental impact of that? What's the environmental impact of, one plastic container out there? If I go and I toss it out, Maybe there's an alternative. I think glass is a great alternative, especially if we can start looking at energy sources that have a low carbon footprint. So, there's all kinds of solutions. It's just a matter of getting people to come together more and supporting those advancements in technology. I think the biggest hurdle right now, not only is it COVID-19, but the biggest hurdle is actually getting these early stage funded tech companies off the ground, because it's almost impossible to start a business without deep funding, and to exist in this world you need funding. So that is the limiting factor in a lot of these ingenuities in the clean tech space. So it can really help.
So, there are many skeptics. Okay, there are many skeptics out there who don't believe in climate change and who feel and believe theories that climate change it's all a politically motivated thing. Do you find that the general market for a product like yours suffers due to people's lack of caring or understanding, or maybe inability to educate themselves on the benefits of living life a little bit more energy efficiently?
Well, you raised a really good question, and I would answer yes and no. I think that the people that really do understand it are creating paths forward. You look at things like people like Leonardo DiCaprio that really cares about the environment. He's heavily contributing. You look at Mr. Former mayor of New York City, Mike Bloomberg. He's heavily invested in this in the energy space, and Al Gore and the things that he's doing. There's so many people out there. Even Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he has billions of dollars and is the richest man on the planet, but he is contributing. He is looking at paths towards a cleaner footprint for all of the things that he's doing. And then to speak to the people that are not believers of climate change. Hey, why don't you go to Australia? Why don't you hop on a plane? Well, you might not be able to get there. Or why don't you go to places like Hong Kong or India? Go travel in India and get back to me. And you let me know if there's because I think we're very shielded here in the United States. If you're not a climate change believer and you haven't traveled to those places, then you're just relying on information that you've read from somewhere, some source that you think that you believe or don't believe. You need to go and investigate these things on your own to really understand that. I've done a lot of traveling. I've researched a lot. I've even I've looked at even the reports that are from the United Nations. I can't remember the website right now. Anyways, there are ways to get information. There are scientists all over the world. There's 26,000 scientists, and the United Nations has come up with information that shows and shows all the documentation from all these scientists, and it's there. The information is there. The scientists have been, at their wits' end trying to let the media know about what's going on, letting politicians know. Now the politicians, some of them are starting to step up and they're starting to see what's happening. And I just think it's a matter of time. You don't think that we've had crazy weather and crazy tornadoes and crazy fires in California and Australia, and you think that's crazy right now. That's 4 big weather systems. If we get down to 2, game over, for all of us. So let's hope it doesn't go that way. So we have 10 years to figure this out. We need clean change. There's clean solutions out there, and I think we can pull together and we can get some solutions out there to help solve the problems that we have right now. Another thing too, one thing that I do want to add is, do you really want to gamble with of not doing anything? Like, if we didn't do anything today about climate or anything like that, we continue doing what we're doing, do you think that that is a realistic approach? Do you think that's a fair approach? Do you think that's an honest approach to treating our planet, polluting it? I don't think it is.
We only got one world to live in, right? And
Yeah.
we're all sisters and brothers of Mother Earth, and
Yeah, we do.
it's having people like you that are passionate about, even more passionate, that really bring these things to light and bring it to our attention. So thank you for what you do. And where could our audience find your website, or how could they find out more information about Infinite Hydrogen?
Well, we are looking for more funding to develop our website further. So you're just going to find a one pager right now, but it's www.infinitehydrogen.com. And we're also on Facebook. So Facebook/Infinite Hydrogen. And then I'm also have Instagram and Twitter. And so if you just Google it, I'm sure you'll find some of those things. But yeah,
Well,
I'm also on
Tracy,
Facebook. Tracy Gugel, reach out to me. I've had people already, and I really appreciate being here. And I just also want to say, Sage, you're so incredibly talented, and it was such a pleasure to hear you sing. And I wish you the best in going upwards with your journey. And same with you, Amanda. You are just such a beacon of light for so many people, and you're so talented, and your grace and generosity of heart and kindness is so amazing. Both of you are contributing a huge amount with your talents, and I thank you.
thanks so much, Tracy. It's really kind of you to say. Best of luck to you, and I look forward to seeing you again in life when this all subsides.
Yeah.
Sage, yeah,
You
have a
can do
great day.
that.
Sage, do you want to close us out with one more of your beautiful songs?
Would love to. I just want to say thank you, Tracy. That's so sweet, and I can't wait to look more into your business. It's so inspiring what you're doing. It's amazing.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, Amanda. This has been really fun. I'm glad that we finally connected after all this time.
Yeah, likewise. It's such a pleasure to connect, and I wish you. You're a superstar. Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope to see your name in lights really soon.
I wrote this song this past week just about the feelings that I was having about this whole situation, and I hope it can bring some solace to others like it did for me. All of that pain, let it wash away as I hold you. I'll keep the fear at bay, head above the water. Won't let you slip under. I know the current's strong, but darling, I am stronger, stronger, stronger. I am stronger, stronger. I am stronger, stronger. Ooh, and I will hold you, and I will push through, won't get caught in the undertow. Look how much I've grown. I am stronger. Nobody knows, so let's just let it go. We're all growing new eyes, and we can take it slow. Keep treading the water, we'll let you slip under. I know the current's strong, but darling, I am stronger, stronger, stronger. I am stronger, stronger. I am stronger,
Beautiful job. That you just heard the sweet sounds of Sage Melcher. Big thank you to Sage, to Tracy Gugel. Make sure you check them out further after today's program. And I just want to leave you off with some fun facts about nature. So nature obviously does some really incredible things for us. And Tracy and Sage had both mentioned them earlier. I'm going to give you a few more. The social contact, exercise, and improved physical health that nature encourages are likely indirect routes through which nature influences mental health and well-being. Exposure to nature-inclusive urban or indoor settings has been shown to restore energy and attention, reduce psychological stress, enhance cognitive function, creativity, and productivity, increase motivation and job satisfaction, and improve mood states. These effects are not solely the result of viewing plants and trees. Various forms of sensory contact, especially visual and auditory, with various forms of nature have been shown to induce convergent results. Think about that. Treat your planet accordingly. Like I said, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I do everything right, and that I'm the most environmentally conscious, but having that awareness of what you're doing, especially during a time where we have a little bit more time to think and to create new and better habits, let it absorb. Thank you so much to Boya Productions for all your help with sound, audio, visuals, making this studio look great. And thank you again to today's guests. I will see you guys back here Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much, and cheers to an amazing weekend.
Thanks, Amanda. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.